Welcome back to Common Core 1-1 Part G for Great. Before we begin, I'm told to watch out when you run on a dirt hill. What?
When your legs don't work like they used to before.
Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. Alright, so, reducing review. A little quick to remind you on this. If 1/3, if we want it times both by 3, you have to times the top and bottom by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. In that same way, I could divide both of these by 3 and come back to 1/3, like so. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So again, you can times or divide as long as you do it to the top and the bottom. But you could also do this, 3/9 times 5/7. We talked about pre-dividing, but this time I don't have a 3, but I can divide both of these by a 3. And this works if you can do it for the top and the bottom. So it doesn't matter if this is the top, or this is the bottom, or this is the top, or this is the bottom. As long as you do it to 1 each, you're fine. So 3 divided by 3 makes 1, and 9 divided by 3 makes 3. So really this becomes 1/3. And this is what I call a pre-divide. So 1 times 5 is 5, 3 times 7 is 21. As shown here. When you don't have to pre-divide, but it sure is easier. Because think if I didn't, I would have 3 times 5 is 15, and 9 times 7 is 63. And some of you might know you can divide by 3, or you might have to try the 2, 3, 5, or 7 method to figure out what's what. But if you pre-divide, it makes it easier. One more. So take a look at this here. I have 5 times 5 and 10 times 7. Yeah, I could start with 25 over 70, but why not divide both of these by 5 to begin with? So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So this turns into 1/2, because now 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 7 is 14. Makes it a lot easier. Fractions aren't hard once you know all the little ins and outs and tricks to them. So you try. Go ahead and pre-divide if you can. Pause. Let's see how you did. I went ahead and divided these two into 1/2, and then 1 times 1 is 1, and 10 times 2 is 20. Hopefully you got it. Skills practice. There's 6 of them again. No, only 4, so go ahead and pause. Let's see how you did. Take a look here. I went ahead and cut these down to 1/5, cut this to 2/3, 2 or 15. Go ahead and just take a look on your own. 1 over 12. Negative 3/10 and 4/5. Hopefully you got all 4 right. Now, what if we have to divide fractions? Well, that's a little different. Now, if you remember, to multiply, it's easy. Top times top, bottom times bottom. No big deal there. I know I say that a lot. Here we have 4 times 10 and 5 times 12. Well, you would just take top times top, bottom times bottom. About ready to say it. Not hard to do. 4 times 10 is 40, 5 times 12 is 60. Then we just reduce. Divide both by 20, and you get 2/3. But you can always pre-divide or pre-reduce. You could divide both in the beginning by 4, and you could divide, you start there and get 1 over 3, and you really could divide these by 5 if you wanted. Divide both by 5, and make this 2 and make this 1, shown here. And 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 3 is 3. So all this work, so you could start and do everything up to 40 over 60, or pre-divide, and get it down to 2/3 to begin with. Now, dividing fractions will involve flipping, though, the back fraction. So you have your first fraction, and the one after it gets flipped. You don't flip the first one. So before we can flip these fractions, we have to understand multiplicative inverse, which I'll show you. So instead of 5 over 3, all you do for an inverse is you flip it. So the 5 that was on top goes in the bottom. The 3 that was on the bottom goes on top. So 5 over 3 becomes 3 over 5. And if you have 4 over 7, it becomes 7 over 4. It's simply an inverse. It switches positions. Now if you have a whole number like 12, that's a little more complicated. So 12 can just be 12 over 1. And then you flip 12 over 1 and make 1/12. Think of it this way. Instead of making 12 times as large, you're going to make it 12 times as small. So instead of 12 over 1, 1 over 12. You try. Go ahead. Try these 4. Let's see how you did. We will do, instead of 10 over 12, we make 12 over 10. And if you're really special, you could make 6 over 5, or 1 1/5 if you're like Uber. Here we flip this and make 3 over 5. Here we make this into 123 over 102. Don't forget the negative sign. You do not change the negative. That's for something different. All you have to do is flip top and bottom. The negative stays at this time. And yes, if you want to make negative 121 over 102, we haven't dived into a lot of fraction work with positive negatives. That's okay. I'm happy with this for now. That's fine. And instead of 23, we'd have 1 over 23. Hopefully you got all 4 right. Take a look here. We have 6 total. Remember the multiplicative inverse to help you here. Go ahead and pause. See how you did. Well, I get 18 over 7, 23 over 35. This flips. I did not reduce this down. If you did, that's wonderful. I just left it. Here, negative 1 over 7, 9 over 32, and 32 over 5, which again, you could make 6 2/5 if you're so wanting. Oh, there was a 7 and 8. Shame on me. Go ahead, take the 7 and 8, flip them. All right. 7 and 8, here's the reverse right here. Hopefully you got those. Also on multiplicative inverse, how do you find the multiplicative inverse for 3 4/5? It's just not 3 5/4. That doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. This we have to start by making an improper fraction. Now you remember when I said there'd be a time when you have to do this? Well, now it's time. It's not hard though. All you have to do is take the big number times the bottom. Remember we did the whole token example where I said, okay, if it's, 5 tokens per dollar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each dollar gives you 5 tokens, and I have $3. I have 5, 5, 5, which makes 15, and I already have 4 tokens to begin with. So 15 plus 4 is 19. I'll save you all the graphics because it takes me a long time to make those graphics. But hopefully you understand that 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4 is 19. Still over 5 because it's still 5 tokens per dollar. So instead of 19 over 5, though, now we switch and make 5 over 19. That comes last. So 3 4/5, the multiplicative inverse is 5 over 19. I got to keep a timer on this because I don't want to run past 15, but this is pretty complex. So you try. Find the multiplicative inverse at this time. Let's see how you did. Oh, Joe, I didn't write them down ahead of time. That's okay. 3 over 25 is 75. So 14 plus 75 is going to make 89 over 25, but you have to flip those. So 25 over 89. That's the multiplicative inverse. This one here, 23 times 5 is going to be 115. So I take 115 plus 4, which makes 119 over 5. Flipped makes 5 over 119. Finally, 31 times 5 is 155. Plus 41 is going to make 196 over 5. Flipped makes 5 over 196. And there you have that. Hopefully you got all those right. Skills, practice time. There's 3 of them. Let me move this a little closer so you can get them all in one pause. Go ahead and pause this time. Let's see how you did. Take a look here. For the first one, we end up with 45 over 417. Second one, 55 over 729. And the third one is 55 over 2432. Hopefully you got that. So back to dividing fractions. So the biggest deal is, remember, the flipping is taking the multiplicative inverse. Now remember, we do not flip the first one. 4 over 5 does not flip. It stays the same. But the second one, 10 over 12, will flip. So instead of 10 over 12, we make 12 over 10. And then we do regular multiply. In other words, when I flip the back fraction, I just turn it into a multiply. So by flipping the back, you make it a multiply. Now, it's just 4 times 12 and 5 times 10. Which you could, make 48 over 50, reduce that down to 24 over 25, or you could pre-divide the 4 and the 10, divide both by 2, and make that a 2, and make this a 5, and then take 12 times 2, makes 24, and 5 times 5 is 25. It's a little more complex, an extra step, but nothing you can't do if you are willing to take it one step at a time. You try. Don't forget, flip first the back fraction, not the front, and then multiply. Let's see how you did. Did you get 2/3? I hope yes. We have 6 of them, so go ahead and try these first 4 in your skills practice. Don't forget, you can turn them into me for extra credit, extra points, extra points. Just get those turned into me prior to class. Yes, you'll do them again in class, but hey, who doesn't like extra points? Go ahead and try these 4, pause. Try these next 2, pause. Let's see how you did. This first one, by the time I got all said and done with it, it's 2. This one's 5. This one's 1 3/5. This one's 5/9. This one's 11/18, and this one's 3/5. Okay, now it gets a little choppy because we're going to do both things at once. We're going to take this here. Remember, we don't flip the first one, but you do want to make it into an improper fraction. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 makes 14/5. So remember, 2 times 5 plus 4 makes, 14. We just kind of covered that. This, remember, you flip. So 2/1. It's important to do one thing at a time, and you will be able to do this. If you try to do more at once than you can do, it gets all messed up. So 14/5, this flips to 2/1. Now, top times top, bottom times bottom. Wonderful, 28/5, or 5 3/5, whichever, or 5.6 if it makes you happy. I'm fine with that. I'm just showing you how to find what to do. Well, again, to make this into the mixed numeral, I said you could just take 28/5 and get 5.6, using your calculator or long division. But since you have a whole number of 5, what you do is you say, okay, I can take 5 sets of 5 out of 28. So 5 times 5 is 25. So I have 28. I'm going to subtract 25 from it. In other words, to get a whole number 5, I'm saying how many 5s could I pull out of 28? When I took 28 divided by 5, I got 5.6. So I took a whole 5, and that made 25. How much is left? Well, 28 minus 25 is 3, so I still got 3 out of 5. In that same way, let me draw you a very quick reminder. 28 divided by 5. 5 times what can give me close to 28? 5. 5 times 5 is 25. How many are left? 3. So I have remainder 3. But instead of putting remainder 3, I'll just put 3 and still being divided by 5. Voila! Just like I taught you a couple days ago. It's just that easy. Let's continue. You try. Go ahead. Hopefully you got 27. Try 2 more. Pause and let's see. Did you get those? I hope so. Skills practice time. See how we're doing on time? Oh, we're just going to make it because I'm at 12:40. Go ahead, take these, pause. Do these 2, pause. Let's see how you did. Number 1, I got 3 and 11/15. Number 2, -1 and 13/25. Number 3 is 3. Number 4 is 2. 5 is 5 3/5. And 6 is also 5 3/5. What's the difference between these two? Oh yeah, these 2 are negative and these 2 are positive. But 2 negatives make a positive and 2 positives make a positive. So there. That's it. We'll definitely do more of these in class. So if you had a hard time with it, don't sweat it. I hope you had a chance to go over these. If you have trouble, please see me first hour and I'll be happy to help. Thanks again. Bye.